thanks for joining me at Too Hot for the DSM or returning, finding out, whichever. I actually thought that this week I was going to be super busy and stressed. I'm still stressed, but that I wouldn't have time to do a regular video like this, and I would put up one of my sort of work log videos about media, and I still intend to do that. So this is going to be unusual from the other videos because I feel like they sound more like maybe how-to or, to kind of get you ready for something. And this is just going to be a vlog, and I'm going to be trying not to cry. So this is just basically what I'm dealing with right now. And I used to be a writer. I would have wrote this on a Tumblr or something, but I'm not so great with writing at the moment. So in the last video I mentioned going to a job interview, and it seemed like I had the job, but they didn't completely explain if I did, and it was all very muddled. I really didn't want to work at that location. Like I said before, I had about 30 applications in different places, and I started, 5 here, 5 here, and they kept adding up, and eventually I would just put down almost anywhere. And I didn't want to do any type of food service. I am not the best cook. I usually microwave most of my food. It makes me very stressed. It's gross. I know it sounds stupid, but I just hate food service. And yes, I'm going to say again, in case you didn't watch the other ones or whatever, I do have a degree, but where I live, my degree is only useful at all for getting a job in my field, sort of, that pays minimum wage at best. And this was the first job recently that I got called in to interview for, so there was this huge amount of pressure on that. I had to act super excited. I had to basically put myself down in the interview, but then jack the personality up, oh yeah, I know I screwed up by not working jobs long enough, because you can't tell people, oh, I'm sorry, I had 8,000 problems, mentally that interfere with me working places for long periods of time, because I can't tell people what's bothering me because it doesn't bother other people, where they all just put up with it. So I guess I'll just work wherever I can work until I burn out from going crazy, because nobody's ever been able to help me. So basically, I want to say begged, but I put on a really good show of why I needed this, not why I needed this job, but how I would be very committed to it. I wasn't going to flake out. I wasn't going to quit. I wasn't going to whatever. So they had to do a background test like everybody does. They had to do a drug test, which I think is weird just for that kind of job. Nobody got back to me. It was a Friday, and I didn't expect to hear anything until Monday, but it still seemed like a long time. And then that Monday I hadn't heard anything. And then I started getting calls and emails from other places that don't pay as much money, that were going to be probably going to all be part-time work. And that place had wrote down full-time on my paper, like they were probably going to give me full-time if I got it. So I wasn't positive I got the job, because I thought they were interviewing other people that day. So I called them, which is very hard for me. And I did call, and the woman was like, oh yeah, all your stuff came back. I'm not going to be here. I don't have a schedule set up for you yet. This is last week. But coming on Friday, this other woman who works here, she gave me her name. You talk to her. She's going to have you do all the paperwork. And then they'll either have a schedule for you, or whenever I come in, I'll give it to you. I'll call you with it. So I went in last Friday. That woman was nice. She had me do my paperwork. I was there for an unusual amount of time because she got sidetracked with different things. And it was 2 hours for 30 minutes worth of paperwork talks. But it was fine because she was writing down on a timesheet. I mean, I would have to do it anyways. It doesn't matter. You'll play a job interview, you don't get paid. But she was putting on a timesheet. She's like, you'll even get paid for this. No big deal. Ha ha ha. So then I asked her repeatedly about the schedule. Okay, I asked her twice, once at the beginning and once at the end. And she said she couldn't find anything, so the manager or supervisor would most likely call me that upcoming week, Monday or Tuesday, which just now, and let me know what was happening. So, about what days I was scheduled, but that I had the job. So I I didn't have the number for this other company that wanted me to interview, so I emailed them and told them I had another job and couldn't come in. I kept someone else on the back burner in case that one didn't work out because I don't want to do food service, and it's really hard. Honestly, I don't want to work in some kind of huge store with a billion people. And I don't think that's unusual for normal, neurotypical people, but particularly for Aspies. So, Monday morning, I got a call very early in the morning that woke me up. And my supervisor's like, just checking to see why you're already 7 minutes late for your first day. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but she told me there was no schedule yet. So I didn't know I was supposed to be here. So she was like, oh, okay, I'll talk to her about that. Well, you're scheduled for the rest of this week, Tuesday to Friday, and gave me the hours. So then I knew they had me in as full-time. So even though part of me is like, yes, what you want is a full-time job that pays higher than minimum wage, the other part of me is screaming inside, like, no, what you don't want is a food service job that is going to burn you out immediately. And I was very worried about it. And I kept talking to my boyfriend about it, and he's like, it's like people in my family, some of them understand certain quirks, as they want to call it, about me, but not really sometimes. They still think, I think some of them have issues too, but they think, well, I can do it, then you can do it. But that's not true. Everybody's a different person. So my boyfriend's like, look, just go in the first day and see what happens. Now, prior to this, I have held a lot of jobs for short periods of time, ranging from 1 month to about 6 or 7 months. And that's more recently that I've had the 6 or 7 months. And it sounds stupid to somebody else, but for me, that's good that I had worked up to that amount of time. I've only worked one job before this where I quit after 1 day, and it was a food service job at a family-owned fast food pizzeria type place. It also served burgers and shit, and they expected me to know how to make all these sandwiches with the correct ingredients that I had never eaten there before in my life. I just walked past the place. And I felt like there was a lot of sexual harassment going on there. They were trying to grab my butt and say dirty things to me and get me alone in the freezer. And that was just a really bad experience. And that was 8 or 9 years ago. But I also worked at, this is a typical first food job, the Arches one, when I was younger than that. And that lasted about a month, and I was cashier. And so a lot of people weren't that mad at the cashier there as opposed to when I cashiered at other places because it was a treat for themselves or their kids or whatever. But even though it was dirty because I had to clean a lot of other stuff around that restaurant, I wasn't in the kitchen. And I had heard a thing before that this is Chris Rock special. He used to work in the kitchen at one of those places, and he said his teeth were all fucked up, and he's like, they put the bad-looking people in the kitchen, they put the better-looking people up front. And I also knew somebody who got me that job. So anyway, I went into this job yesterday, and I was really hopeful I was going to do okay. And what happened is, I took my antidepressants that I've been taking. I took anxiety medicine. I was still very nervous. I was too nervous to eat anything, and it was very early in the morning. I went in. I was so nervous, and I had a hard time getting out the door, which is not unusual for me, because I would have little panic attacks, even if they're not full blown. And I literally got there 1 minute after I was supposed to start. So my supervisor was ushering me into the back really quickly and hurry up and log in because otherwise you're gonna get pointed your first day here. And I'm like, okay. And I was thinking, I knew I already screwed this up, but I thought I already screwed it up the day before, even though it wasn't my fault. So after that, they had a little computer training, which I was surprised about, but it was about all these questions about their food that they serve that I'd never had, so I guess that you could redo them because it's not a real thing and nobody cares. It's your training that nobody cares about, but they have to turn it into corporate somewhere. So it was a little over an hour that I did this training, and then about safety stuff like fires and stuff. And I was thinking, okay. I mean, even when I went in for not the interview because I just assumed I wasn't going to get it. When I went in to sign the papers, I was having a panic attack sitting there because they made me wait 20 minutes. And I was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing in this kind of place again? But I kind of thought in this place that because they had food service and cashier and stocking, that they would kind of move you around. Because I've had jobs where they move you around to different sectors of the store business. So But what happened instead was, maybe this is how they do their training. I don't know, because nobody ever explained anything to me. They did say, this is going to be your trainer, and she told me her name, and she seemed pretty nice, and this is how long she'd been there, like a year. And she was showing me very simple stuff. If you could do this food prep, take this stuff out of these like industrial sized containers, pickles or whatever, put them in these smaller containers, so whenever they were making sandwiches and stuff, they could put it out quickly. And she showed me where everything was, and well, not everything, but she showed me where the stuff was to do that. So I was doing that, and that was simple enough. I do think I was doing some stuff too fast, which I talked to my boyfriend about before, and we were like, I go in everywhere gangbusters, and they expect too much from me, and then that puts a lot of pressure on me, and it's bad. But I did all that stupid stuff. I was surprised from other jobs I worked at that not the minute, but whenever you first come in, they have somebody show you around, but nobody ever gave me a tour of the place. And it's not like it's huge, but it is bigger than our last location, and I hardly have ever gone into this place as a customer. So I don't know anything. You know what I mean? Like, you should show somebody, this is where we keep this is where we keep that, coffee's over here, ATM's over here. It's like the only thing I knew where I was at, and the cashiers. They have a drive-through, which is weird. Their last location didn't have one. And then they sent me off with some other woman, and she showed me the coffee machines, which, to be honest, I don't drink coffee. Very rarely in my real life do I drink coffee. When I do, I want like Starbucks or something that's actually like a milkshake. So I remember when I worked at that Golden Arches one many years ago, they were like, do you know how to make coffee? And I was like, no. I mean, but I try to be more, sly about it. But now I just honestly tell people if I don't know how to do something so that I can learn, which they usually like in some respects because they know I'm trying. So here's how to make like 10 of these coffee machines at once that you're supposed to do. And I'm like, okay. And they asked about my shift, and it sounded like I really wouldn't have to deal with that as much. I don't know. At one point, the woman asked me to take out the garbage, and that's fine. And I went to do that, but then I had to ask where everything was. Where are the extra garbage bags? Where do I take the garbage to? Do we take it all the way outside, or no? Put it somewhere in the back. You'll know where it's at because of this. And then she gave me directions. Why didn't anybody show me anything in this place? So I did all that, and then they were showing me more and more stuff around how to clean this ice cream machine, how to clean this thing or whatever, right? And I kept thinking, okay, nobody's put me on cashier yet. That's fine. Maybe they do that the next day. I don't know. Nobody showed me how to make any of the food yet. When I had talked to the woman the day I signed the paper, she was saying something about how they gave homeless men extra food when they used to make food and give it to the trainees. And then I heard her say, then she said something under her breath, like, they don't do that anymore. And I thought, well, they just don't give you food anymore. I guess they don't train you how to make the food either, because all of a sudden it was lunchtime, and instead of it being like come and go where you could tell, they weren't having me even work with the customers yet. I was doing all this this dirty work stuff. It's fine. And then it got slammed, and all of a sudden, and I didn't know what to do because my trainer was right in there with the other people making all of these sandwiches and food and stuff. So I offered to take the garbage all the way out to where I figured the dumpsters were at, because I just wanted to get out of there for a minute, and I had already been freaking out about everything earlier. So when I got my 20-minute paid break, and you don't get a lunch on an 8-hour shift, I'm confused. Most places, if you have like 6 hours, you may or may not get a break, and if you have 8 hours, they make it 8.5, so you get a half-hour lunch. Whatever, it's stupid. It's just my opinion. But I was like, I'm getting paid for it, so at least there's that. So whenever I came back, it's like I'm standing there, I look like an idiot, and then my supervisor, who, to her credit, is one of the only supervisors I've had who actually jumps on the floor and works. A lot of supervisors sit in their supervisor office, and they would just come out to like yell at you and stuff. She was actually doing things, and she was like, "Hey, you go over there and take care of the fries and stuff." Well, they had 4 broilers of fryers. And like I said, I did work at Arches when I was younger, so I did work on that barely. I worked, even though I didn't work with the food part, they'd have you do the fries sometimes because they're so busy. Over a decade ago, I did that somewhere for like a month. They didn't tell me anything. I keep asking, how long is this? How long is this? And for some reason, nobody else was dealing with those at all. And they expected me to know everything. And I never realized this place had a menu of like 50 items or something. Like, get fried pickle slices, get There's like 8 kinds of chicken, and I'm not lying. I know I exaggerate, but I'm not lying. There were 2 or 3 kinds of cheese curd things, and I didn't know what they were talking about. There were multiple kinds of potato things. I know what they're talking about. I was making some of the wrong stuff. I didn't know how to use the stupid short order computer menu thing. And I was trying my best to help. My supervisor came over and asked me what I didn't understand about it. I said, I don't understand any of it. Nobody told me anything about this. I was freaking out. At one point, when it slowed down a little bit, I was cleaning something up or moving something, and I thought, I'll just walk out of here and leave and not come back. And I was like, no, we're only here for like, it was an hour and a half or 2 hours more. And you could do this or whatever. You really need money. You're putting your family out and all these other things that everybody makes you feel bad about. So I just kept doing my best and still screwing stuff up. But people weren't like mean or anything, except like after you ask the same questions a few times, some people start just pointing at stuff, but like still, like there was nothing saying this is the tray for this is the tray for this. So then eventually when it slowed down, my supervisor came over and gave me little coupon things that were like for free food or something, which in my opinion, if you work in a food place, you should get free food. But I know most of them do like half off, although they never told me the rules on that either. So when it was my break time that I had no lunch, I just didn't eat anything, even though I had money in my pocket. But also because I feel if you have a 20-minute break or something somewhere, even when I have half-hour lunches, I like to take my own food because 1, I don't want to eat grease, and like a ton of grease, and 2, you're spending a big part of your break in the place where you work at registers waiting, and then customers are also going to ask you questions. So anyways, I hadn't eaten anything all day either, which probably didn't help. And then she came up and she's like, oh, sorry we threw you to the wolves. That's what my husband calls it. Small talk, isn't it just great? And then she gives me like coupons for like 2 free things, like a drink and a food item, I don't know. And I was like, oh, that's okay. I don't care. None of that bothered me. And then I was kind of like wanting to ask my trainer what she needed help with at the time, because then I think I was going to be there was like less than an hour, and I wasn't sure what needed done at that point or where things were. And then they were standing there having a conversation about me, but like a nice conversation. Oh yeah, she did whatever I asked her to. She offered help with this or that, which is how I am in a job. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not a bad employee, but I should not have went to an interview for this job. So I was very upset when I took my break like halfway through the day, and I called like everybody. And then I can't, people I trust to talk to. And then when I got done, a couple people asked me, my boyfriend and feeling like, what do you think you do this again? I'm like, well, money, ha, sure, money, ha, ha, ha. So then I just hung out with my boyfriend last night, and first I was like really exhausted. I haven't been working in a couple months, and when I was working a desk job. So I took a nap, and I had taken all of the anti-anxiety medicine to get through the day. So not all of it I had in my pocket, but a decent amount. So I took a nap for like 2 hours. And then when I woke up and went to get something to eat in the house, I like almost fell down. I was like, oh, kerfuckety. And he's like, I don't even want you going back there. I was like, no, I have to try. And then, I don't know, we talked about it a few times, and I'm like, maybe I can keep trying to stick it out. I really didn't see myself making it there more than like a week. And then when I woke up this morning, I was just panicking. And I know it doesn't make any sense. Like, it probably doesn't make any sense to the people that I was working with, because they were saying I did a good job, and I did do a lot of stuff. But the people it should make sense to is my family. And now I don't even want to talk to my mom, because my dad said my mom, is really disappointed in me, and she wants to yell at me and all this stuff. And there's just something about that if your family knows you your whole life, they should understand these things that are going to hurt you. And then something else my boyfriend said last night, this morning, I can't remember. It was like, and you are better than this job. And I don't like that kind of thinking. I do think it's mean. But at some point, I do feel like I am better than a job like that when I went to school for something. And I want to go back to school. And maybe I should just go back to school and not be trying to get a crappy job somewhere that I'm then going to have to beg with them to fix hours so I can go to school or to get set up at school. And then this school now that I have to go to is further away, so I have to travel. Because the one in town I already went to, they only have associate's degrees. And to make sure they would take my credits, but supposedly they do. And It's just a lot of stuff, and right now I just want to give up and not do anything. But instead, I'm recording this because I don't know why. Like I said, I'm not good at writing. I feel very blocked with writing right now. So I guess this is more for me. But yeah, so I didn't go in today, and I didn't call, so I'm a no call, no show, so I would assume I'm fired, but I don't want to go back there anyway. So if you ever held a job for 1 or less days, congratulations, you're not alone, and that's all I have to say for right now. Thank you for coming to my channel. I usually try to make more helpful videos that aren't just whining, which I guess is how this sounded. But I wouldn't recommend fast food kitchen anyway. But and I also have a series of media videos I'm doing that kind of show like Aspergers and really, I might not even said Aspergers this whole video. This is my Aspergers channel because I'm pdd-nos, autism spectrum, blah blah. My depression and social anxiety are in here too. But so this video is more for me. But yes, please like and share and subscribe to my channel if you understand or want to hear more. And like I said, I will try to do better and more informational videos. But right now I am spiraling, and I had to do something regarding this. And also maybe you can see, if you just know somebody, maybe you're trying to look at this as an outsider's view, that this, you can see how recent my last video was, and I was in pretty good spirits, to how quickly someone can like just go down like that. So thank you for watching.